You're listening to Redman in the House. Hey, it's a podcast.
I mean, you got to love racing. There's all kinds of racing out here. I mean, even this weekend, you got the Sports Nationals down at No Problem Dragway going on in Louisiana. I think there's a PDRL show going on this weekend, or PDRA, whatever they call themselves, is going on this weekend in Carolina. So a lot of action on TV this weekend, or not TV, but on Facebook and the podcast and stuff. But yeah, it's I think there's room for everybody. I think it's going to be an exciting year for drag racing. I think maybe we get through all our stuff we're going through in our world. I'm thinking that drag racing could be off the charts this weekend. So for this year, pardon me.
And if you're out there, if you're interested, there's, plenty of ways, especially in today's world with the distribution. They're all over. I'm always getting alerts. It'd be from the NHRA or the I, their YouTube pages that are covering this. They've got cable coverage, just different distribution. So get involved, check it out. Always a lot of fun, or even better, get out there live at your local track. I know, hey, just invite everybody to come on out to my home track, Edgewater. We got a lot going on there. You can check out their Facebook page at Edgewater Race or edgewaterrace.com for all the upcoming events. Billy, hey, speaking of Edgewater, as we take a little cruise down memory lane here. This is a cool one here. We're going to start off. This is the right one, right?
Right.
All right. So obviously now the Wineleys, they've had it for 46 years. But previous owner, we've got a highlight here from them we're going to share with everybody.
Well, this is when the Mingus family owned it. Phil and his brother Tom, and it was a family just like the Wineleys. They ran everything, did everything. Mama Mingus, she ran the concession stand. But this car he's showing you is a 57 running modified production. And I believe the car was out of Independence, Kentucky. Never did really know the guy's name, so I need a little help with that. But Tom Mingus used to do the announcing in the old crow's nest, we called it. And he would always call it the Briar Hopper Special, being out of Independence, Kentucky. And this cat here was stout. He ran a lot of the modified. Well, back then they called them street eliminator shows until it switched to modified eliminator. But it was a bad cat in the day, and he was a Edgewater regular. Every week that car would be in the pits ready to roll. So yeah, that was a neat car. I really liked that. Great sound, great 4-speed car. I'm telling you, he was exciting to watch. So. And it was a class act.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, our next one here. Tell us about this thing. This looks just as impressive right here.
Well, this is when Mopar and them were really getting big into racing in the 60s. And this guy here, a lot of people should remember him if they've been around a while. His name was Stanley Bird, nicknamed Mr. Belvedere. And he was a handicapped guy. He had I don't know if he had polio or what, bad foot, and push-button drive cars were his forte. And Stanley owned Edgewater and owned Tri-State. That's where he ran every weekend, Saturday night Edgewater, Sunday Tri-State. And then eventually Stanley wound up moving down in Kentucky, and he wound up, I believe, getting a Camaro and doing a lot of bracket racing. And he ran like Election and Bluegrass Parkway, and then Clay City. So he wound up moving to that area, and we lost a great racer there for a location. But Stanley was stout. He had a lot of good cars. Big Mopar man, would run against the Cook brothers and a lot of the Mopars. And later on, we'll have a picture of one of his cars. Was one of the first altered wheelbase Plymouths, which is 65 or 6 car. And he used to do a lot of match racing with that car. And Stanley was quite the racer. He called him Mr. Belvedere. Remember, we talk about names about cars. That's what he was called.
Mr. Belvedere. I like that. Even the bird, that's a cool name with the two. But Mr. Belvedere. Two awesome rides here.
Mm-hmm. So, and then the good old days with the grass in the middle. And I tell you, it was a hoot down there. And if you're looking at pictures close, there you go. Spring of the year, no leaves on the trees. And I believe, I don't know if you can see the scale house back kind of in the left there or not, all the way in your left, but where it used to be located. And speaking of them days back then, I don't know if people remember. I do, because I got a copy. 65, 66, or I know it was still 2-lane. When you would go in, they would give you an automatic copy of last week's results, so you'd have the winner of every eliminator and runner-up, which was kind of a neat touch. When you'd go into the track, you'd see who won last week's all the eliminators. So it made it kind of a neat touch. You sit there and go, well, Stanley Word won super stock, and so was runner-up. Bill King would win comp with Seabolt runner-up, whatever it may be. But it was a neat touch to going in at Edgewater.
Very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Billy, awesome cruise there down memory lane. I know now is we kind of like to take some of the big names that you had that you worked with or interacted with over the years, and I know you got some good ones there.
Oh yeah, we I called it last time we did this mini celebration of life for a lot of good racers, officials, different people I've crossed paths with in my life, and I don't want everybody to forget them. A lot of times with our lives being so busy, we get and then somebody's got to jog your memory. Oh, yeah, I remember that guy. But first of all, we just lost him about a week ago, Bill Howe, Division II stocker racer. 428 Cobra Jet Mustang, ran B-stock automatic. Bill was pretty stout in Division II. He ran, I believe he was division champion once. His daughter became a driver, and she ran a super stock GT later. And she even got into the pro stock rank. She drove I can't think of the guy's name on the East Coast. He used to rent his car out, and she drove that for a while. She had went to Roy Hill's drag racing school and learned to drive pro stock, and she was pretty good. She never won an event, but she was a reckoning. So she was stout. Next is a boy.
Let me ask you real quick. That's interesting. Drag racing school.
Oh yeah, we got schools. A lot of people I know Frank Hawley's school to learn how to race cars. He can teach you to run super street all the way up the ranks through alcohol. And then you got Roy Hill. He does a lot through pro stock, door cars, comp cars, different things, heads up cars. And Roy's got a school. I believe Roy still got a school, but he was teaching a lot. So there is places you can go if you ever want to learn to drive these schools and have the experience. You can go to. I know Frank's based out of Gainesville, there at Gator Nationals track. And then Roy usually was out of Charlotte and area. So, it was I take that back. Might be Rockingham. I'd have to check with Roy. But, you can learn how to drive one of these babies in a heartbeat.
Very, very cool. Okay. I didn't know that such a thing existed. So I'm even learning here today on this show.
Oh, yeah. And then next guy I got Gary Summers, Papa G, as we called him. Him and his wife, Cindy, ran Mustangs. He's a farmer. He farmed over 10,000 acres, and Gary loved to drag race. He's a Ford man through and through. Raced Mustangs, had some of the latest Cobra Jets, but his forte was he had a couple of they call them the box, like the 85 era cars that he ran stock and super stock in. He had a super gas Falcon Ranchero when I first met him, and he was a hoot. He was always laughing and having a good time, like to talk the old days. And he had that Kentucky brogue about him from down around Franklin, right south of Bowling Green. He'd always go to me, go, oh, hell. And I'd get the biggest kick out of him saying that. But Papa G, what a guy. Him and his wife took me in, and they'd feed me, and we'd go out to dinner together. We'd talk. We just had a blast. And he had a car museum. Had over 100 cars in there on his farm. He had a big museum down there where he'd buy cars and put them in the museum. This at? Franklin, Kentucky, just south of Bowling Green. His place is right off of 65. If you know where the golf course is, right before let's see, it's right in between the two Franklin exits. So if you get to the second one, which is the last exit in Kentucky, you'd have to get off there to get back to this place. But there's a pro golfer got a golf course there, and his place is right up against that. So, yeah, he's got a neat deal. So, I want to get to some Edgewater people because I know this is basically where we're out of a lot. Want to pay tributes to old Bob Loudon. Bob Loudon ran at Edgewater when I met him, Tri-State, big-time bracket racer. He had the car eventually called the Beast. The boys drove his sons drove him later on. But it was a midnight blue car when he started. Bob would get off work. He worked at a gas station. He'd come down and run. I believe he fell into pro with that car. And Bob was a great guy, and later on became owner of Tri-State Drag Strip, him and his wife. So I really like Bob. He was a class act, nice guy, and he was really a trooper. Then I got for the old modified boys, Warren Gross. Everybody remember Warren from old competition milling up there in Chevy at Westwood areas. He ran the Granny Goose car. He ran the Corvette after Dave Lewis stepped up into the Camaro, and he ran for years. And he worked competition milling, ran it, and he was a super guy. We lost him way too soon. I really liked Warren. He was a neat guy. Always had a grin on his face. And the next guy after him is Fred Logan. And Fred, the reason I brought Fred in, we lost him way too soon. He had bought the original Granny Goose from Warren, and he had the car, but he painted it red, had Fred Logan on the side. He ran for a few years with the car off and on. And then eventually Ray Nash, which everybody should know Ray, he's got the Granny Goose. He bought it from the family and redid it in the Granny Goose colors and takes it around to shows, runs a little nostalgia stuff here and there. But Ray's got that car now. And my last one is we just lost last week too, Ken Shawver. Kenny, what a great guy. He ran Pontiacs. He ran a little bit of everything. Big stocker, super stock guy. He ran a lot of people might remember, Defiance transmission up Defiance, Ohio. Worked on a lot of transmissions for different guys. Always had a pipe in his mouth when he talked to you. He was just a great guy. I met him when he ran stocker. He had like a 70, 71 Pontiac Le Mans, ran like F automatic. And then his last car was a Firebird Trans Am, ran super stock, which Monty Howard at the end was doing some racing for him, driving the car for him. Great people. We don't want to lose the memory of these people. Like I said, every one of these people here I give you, that's what made the backbone of drag racing. They supported, they built cars, they followed through. A lot of times, like I say, they don't get recognition or remember, except we're sitting around maybe having a cold one and go, hey, Rick, you remember so-and-so, you know? Oh, yeah, you know, but we want to keep their memories alive. Great people. So that's all I got this week, but I'll have more coming.
Well, we're certainly going to have more. We're going to have a lot more on the show. We're going to wrap up this episode of Redman in the House. I know you got a lot to do this afternoon as we're sitting here. It's very quiet right here at the VFW, but that is about to change in a couple hours. Second to last fish fry.
All right, number 6.
So got one more week to get here. So you can join, come out for an incredible dinner. Very affordable. Catch that next week. But Redman, before we do get out of here, actually, everybody know, I know there's some big events coming up for the Easter weekend here at the V.
We got trunk or treat on Saturday prior to Easter for kids. We call it trunk or treat Easter style. So it's kind of like trunk or treat regular, only kids get to come around their Easter baskets, and we give them candy. We have the Easter bunny here. They can get their picture taken with. The bar, our canteen will be closed on Easter Day because being an old guy, I'm kind of traditional, kind of spend time with the families and everything. But the last fish fry will be Good Friday. Also, I'd like to throw a little, if you don't mind, Rick, out to all the fellow podcasters. There's a lot of good racing and different venues for you to watch. We want you to watch ours and support us. But there's Bobby Fazio, does Stock Super Stock East Coast. Chris Barnes, great show he puts on over in the East Coast once a week. Nitro Alley, she's getting involved, doing more interviews again. And also Alan Reinhardt, the great announcer from NHRA, and he's doing a little I think now. He's got one going on, doing a little history too, like we are, only he's on the pro side a little more. But Alan, great, a lot of knowledge. And if you get bored, watch these shows and support them. The people are trying to keep your interest in peaking. And I know some of them get a little boring or too technical, but that's why we're trying to make it fun here, me and Rick. And we've got a lot of things to bring up. I got more stuff we want to do and bring in some new stuff to you. Just keep it entertaining.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to wrap things up for this episode. He is Redman. I'm RBV, and you have been watching Redman in the House. Hey, it's a podcast.
See y'all.